NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, the Premier League, the PGA Tour, Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
This is Football Night in America, presented by Allstate.
It's a chilly day in Cincinnati, but in the home of the AFC North champs, they just call it football weather. It's the perfect scene for the start of the NFL playoffs. It's the Bengals and the Raiders kicking off the road to Super Bowl 56.
You asked for a chance to be right here in this spot and play this game. Ain't no better stage than this.
Are you ready? Let's go!
The crowd is roaring.
It's all about survival.
The Bills claim the AFC East Division back-to-back.
To the NFL's leading receiver.
Feel the fire, you know I'm coming.
TJ Watt has the sack.
It's all about survival.
Got by Debo again. He slips the hit. Touchdown! The Chiefs put the hammer down.
Do or die. You already know. They call me the GOAT. Relock and reload.
There is your dagger. Touchdown! Titans! Yeah! Let's go!
It's all about survival.
Raiders in, Chargers out. Let's go to Cincinnati!
The Cincinnati Bengals clinch the AFC North. They can beat anybody.
All aboard. Are you ready? Let's go.
It's been 31 years since Cincinnati last won a playoff game, and Ohio's very own Joe Burrow is out to change that. Huge anticipation for his postseason debut. While Derek Carr has waited a long time for his opportunity on this stage, he and the Raiders won the last 4 games to punch their ticket to the playoffs. We've got freezing temperatures at Paul Brown Stadium, which we would all expect in January in Ohio, but it's still a great way to begin a super wild card weekend. Taking a look at the bracket, it's the second year of the expanded 14-team playoff format. You know, Tennessee and Green Bay earned the first round bye, so they're sitting at home. There are 2 games today, Bengals Raiders, followed by Bills Patriots, a triple header tomorrow, Tampa Philly, Dallas San Francisco, and then the nightcap will be right here on NBC when Kansas City and the Pittsburgh Steelers hit the field. The action will wrap up on Monday night, and that'll be the Rams taking on the Cardinals. Super wild card weekend. We've made it through the biggest season ever with 18 weeks. Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy, Chris Sims here. We've got Jack Collinsworth, Rodney Harrison. They're on site. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees. They'll be calling the game, and Catherine Tappan. She'll be bringing us some player interviews. So we're set. We got you covered everywhere you need to be covered. But let's talk about the playoffs and what's our overall expectation after what we've seen throughout the course of this season, Coach?
Well, Maria, this playoff bracket is as wide open as I can remember one. The #1 seeds kind of went down to the wire, had teams getting into the playoffs on the last day with upsets, that type of thing. I would not be surprised if 3 or 4 road teams win in this wild card round. It's just that wide open, Chris.
I agree with you, Coach. I'm going to echo some of those sentiments. I don't know if there is a great team in the NFL this year. That's where it's a little different. I think the playoffs, you could throw the records out the window. It doesn't matter. It's a year in this playoffs, especially where I look at matchups to really be a key thing. You know, again, hey, let's take last weekend. Rams, maybe better in totality than the 49ers, but man, do they want to see them in the playoffs?
No,
Absolutely not, right? I think there's a lot of that to be had here in this year in the playoffs.
It's so crazy to think that it literally came down to game 272 to find out who was going to make it into the playoffs. And ultimately, it was the Raiders knocking down that field goal in overtime. And that's how we get here to this matchup. Now, the Bengals, they win the AFC North for the first time since 2015. The Raiders had to win 4 straight to make it here, Chris. But when you talk about matchups, let's talk about the one on the field we're going to see first.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's the big play Bengals. Come on. It's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all the superstars they got on that football team. This is a Raiders defense we know that does not give up a lot of big plays. Can the Bengals be patient today? I think that's the one thing I look at. Can they be patient? And then off of that, don't let Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue ruin the football game, which they were close to doing the first time around. That's something to watch for.
Yeah, you talk about matchups, and that's what I'm going to be looking at, the matchups in that line play. The Raiders have a great pass rush, you mentioned. Joe Burrow's been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL.
51 times.
Flip side, can Cincinnati get pressure on Derek Carr.
Right.
That, I think, is going to be the key to the game. Watch those linemen at work.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to watch for. We get the big play Bengals where we go, wait, can they be patient? The Raiders have patience. And then Raiders have patience. Isn't that crazy, right? I know, like the Al Davis Raiders, but they have patience. They can move the ball methodically down the field. To me, it's like vice versa for them. They got to find a way to game plan and get a few big plays, so it doesn't always have to be a 10 or 12 play drive.
Well, the Raiders won their last 4 games by a total of 12 points. So Raiders Nation just sitting on the edge of their seat. It could come down to the very final possession. But for more on today's game, let's go outside the stadium, say hello to Rodney Harrison, Cincinnati's own Jack Collinsworth, and see if they're staying warm out there, guys.
Maria, this city has been waiting on this moment, trying to win one of these things as far back as my memory goes. You can hear the hope in their voices today, though, Ryan.
Hey, it's playoff time in Cincinnati. Can you believe this? They off the chain out here.
It's crazy. So the Bengals, they rested their top players last week. The Raiders, they are coming across the country. It's a short week after the game of the year. What does Vegas have to do?
The Raiders have to come out here and they have to match the energy of the Bengals. The Bengals are a young team. They play with a lot of emotion. And you see all these fans, they're going to have 60,000 more in the stadium. Let's go, baby.
We told you about that 30 years that it has been. The fans know how long it's been all too well. But how do you think this young team processes the drought that it's been?
Look, they respect, they understand the history, but at the end of the day, they don't care. Oh, this is a new team, new attitude, and they're moving forward.
And Zach Taylor, he's done such a great job of making this a fun, working environment throughout the turnaround. He caught up with Catherine Tappan.
Coach, now in your 3rd season, you lead this team to a playoff game. What is so special about that group in the locker room?
Well, just the leadership. They believe in each other. They believe in working hard, keeping each other accountable, and put us in a position to be here today.
When you look at this team and what you're about to embark on, what will be your message to the team before they take the field?
Play like we played all season, loose and aggressive. You know, these guys don't feel the pressure. They put in the work, and they're confident when they walk on the field.
And Coach, your first playoff game as a head coach, any nerves for you at all?
No, we played in a lot of these types of games, on this field recently in the last 2 months. So it's going to feel a lot like those.
Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Catherine, thank you. It is a day Cincinnati hopes to remember forever. Those playoff struggles were long before Joey franchise came home to Ohio and Burrow smoked his first victory cigar a couple weeks ago. But nobody in this town plans on it being his last.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. By Applebee's. Here's to the regulars. And by Lowe's. We put the home in home team.
We're counting you down to kickoff between the Bengals and the Raiders, the first of 6 wildcard games over the next 3 days. So go ahead, get comfortable, get your popcorn, and don't ever leave your television alone. Now, on the NFC side, the Green Bay Packers have the bye. Tom Brady and the Bucs are the 2 seed. They host the Eagles tomorrow. A lot of rich playoff history between Dallas and San Francisco, while the Rams and Cardinals play on Monday night. For more on Tampa as they try to go back-to-back, here are Michael Smith and Michael Hawley from our Peacock show, Brother from Another.
Michael Smith, I've known you for a long time, and you know how much respect I have for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Same here.
Would I be crazy to doubt that Tom Brady can get the Buccaneers back to the Super Bowl again this year?
I think you would, even though this feels like Aaron Rodgers' year, feels like it's lined up for him. Yes, you would be crazy to bet against Tom Brady. And the reason I use the word bet, Michael, I know in your spare time, you're a bit of a betting man. And what do you do when you bet? You play the odds, okay? This is Tom Brady's 20th season as a starter. He's appeared in 10 Super Bowls. So 10 out of 19 completed seasons, he's been in the Super Bowl. He's appeared in 14 conference championship games. So 14 out of 19 completed seasons, he's been in the Final Four. So the odds are that he's going to at least get to the conference championship game. And with one game on the line, I love you, Aaron Rodgers. I got to go with Tom Brady. I'm not betting against this man. I've seen this movie too many times.
You said 10 out of 19. It's going to be 10 out of 20. I'm that crazy person who is going to bet against Tom Brady because it's just too much. He left New England because he suggested to the Patriots, you can't just throw any receiver out there and expect me to be my normal self. So losing Chris Godwin was big. Losing Antonio Brown was big. They're going to
Zero
fall
Grayson even.
they're going to fall just short, Mike, but they may get to the conference championship, not to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so the brothers don't agree there. But you can catch Michael and Michael weekdays from 3 to 5 Eastern on Peacock. They'll also be a part of our Super Bowl coverage from LA. But let's stick with this game. The Bucs taking on the Eagles, and obviously the run game is going to be a focal point. And for you, Coach, you believe a recipe for the upset for the Eagles.
I think that's the way Philadelphia's going to have to do it. Bruce Arians, the Bucs coach, says no one runs on us, but Philadelphia can run on them. Here's what he's talking about. Normally in this situation, running formation, Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, he's going to put 8 guys up there, so he's always going to have a free guy to tackle the ball carrier. And that would be the case here. We'll get a little motion, and Philadelphia is going to start on this run play. And if he does hand this ball off, Devin White probably is going to make the tackle here unblocked for no gain.
Right.
But the little secret weapon that Philadelphia has is Jalen Hurts. The ball doesn't go here. Hurts has it to the outside, and he could do something with it, Chris.
I'm with you, Coach. That's what I'm excited to see here, because the Eagles back in Week 6, they were not this team then, where they're all about the run game. I think you and I agree it's probably the best running team in football, if not top 2 with the 49ers. So that's certainly going to be a big thing. And I think off of that, too, it's going to be their best defense for this game as well.
Why do you say that?
Well, there's this guy called Tom Brady on the other side. And the one thing, the Eagles, I think, are a little overrated on the defensive side of the ball. Number 10 defense in the game. But when you see Herbert, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Brady, teams with quarterbacks and a good offensive system, they absolutely tore apart this Eagles defense. It was like 7-on-7. And I worry about that tomorrow, and I think that's where Coach's point of the run game for the Eagles is going to come in handy.
Run the ball, slow the game down.
Keep Brady by the Gatorade bottle. Right,
Tom Brady is 34-11 in playoff games. Jalen Hurts is probably like having a pacifier in his mouth when he first started playing playoff matchups, but it should be a fun one. Bucs Eagles, that's coming up tomorrow. On Monday, it'll be the Rams hosting the Cardinals, and for more on that game, our preview continues with Jack and Rodney.
There's that Icky Shuffle sign. That thing's world famous right there. You got Arizona, LA. They go round 3 on Monday night. They split during the regular season. So how would you try to slow down this Rams offense, right?
I've been telling you all year, in order to beat the Rams, you got to play physical. You have to hit Matthew Stafford. He'll throw an interception. Get out of here, dude. You got to hit Matthew Stafford. He'll throw you an interception. Double team Cooper Kupp. And the teams that have had success against them, like the Tennessee Titans, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers, they've been very physical.
They have been. Matthew Stafford, he's still trying to hunt down his first postseason win. So how can McVay help him find that playoff rhythm a little bit?
Take his ego out of it. Run the football. It can't be all Matthew Stafford throwing the ball 50 times.
In Arizona, they're getting J.J. Watt back as well. 7-0 they are with them healthy on this season. And pass rushers, they can change these playoff games. So we come back, Rodney goes one-on-one with Max Crosby, a man who's created more pressure than anybody in football. And the Raiders, they need it tonight. They're on the field, getting set.
I never wanted to be like anybody else. I always kind of wanted to be my own version of what I thought my favorite player would look like.
Come on, go crazy.
I gotta ask you, man, how does a dude from Eastern Michigan become one of the baddest pass rushers on the planet?
Mindset and just consistency. I know I got a lot of room to grow, and I think that's what separates good players from great players. I'm so much more motivated, and I still got to keep growing.
You can just hear he's still got that same chip on his shoulder. As a 4th-round pick, Max Crosby has become a premier pass rusher in a hurry. So what separates him as a player?
He's unbelievable. I have not seen a player plays harder than Max Crosby on every single play. And what I love about him, I love his mentality. He's never satisfied. He told me anybody that he's facing, he's trying to get that guy that he's facing to tap out. It happened last week against the Chargers. He took over the game in the 4th quarter. He was absolutely outstanding. And this is what I love about him. He gets after the quarterback, relentless pursuit. He never gives up, and he celebrates with his team. They're going to need a whole lot of that tonight if they want to win.
And he may end up with another favorable matchup as well. He leads the entire league in pressures by a substantial margin. You spent some time with him this week. What stood out to you about that visit?
You know what? He talked to me, and he said he has so much respect and admiration for a coach Rich Bisaccia. And to me, man, they just need to go ahead and name him head coach. We talked to several players. They told us the same thing, Jack.
Talked to Hunter Renfrow. He said it's about time they drop that interim tag from his title.
Right.
They feel like winning this game tonight will go a long way in doing that. Maria, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jack. Rodney, let's stop letting the fans run across the middle while you're out there. Let's talk about the Vegas season. They've been up, they've been down. It's been like going to the casino. They started 3-0, then lost 7 of their next 10. They needed to make a move, though, so they won 4 straight. And jackpot, guess what? They made it into the playoffs, and here they sit getting ready to take on the Bengals and kick off our Super Wild Card weekend. But as Jack mentioned, there's an interim tag for head coach Rich Bisaccia. He took over for John Gruden after he resigned in October. Let's welcome in Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. And Mike, what are Bisaccia's chances of getting the full-time head coaching job?
Well, they get better with every win. And here's the reality. The owner of the team, Mark Davis, can't just give the job to Rich Bisaccia. A search has to be conducted at some point, and Davis has been waiting, at least for now, until the playoff run ends before he conducts the search. People in the building don't know what Mark Davis is ultimately going to do. There is a thought that if they keep it close today or pull the upset, that will really help Bisaccia become the next head coach. But clearly, with each passing week, each passing win, he puts himself in a better and better spot to become the permanent head coach, Maria.
All right. Thanks, Mike, for the insight. And for more insight on Rich Bisaccia, obviously, Coach, you've been around him in coaching circles. You've actually had him on your coaching staff. But what does he add to a locker room? What is his impact?
You know, Maria, people think head coaching is X's and O's. It's not. It's bringing people together. It's motivating people, and it's creating culture. And Rich Bisaccia does that. Derek Brooks played for me in Tampa, Hall of Fame player. He said he used to go in the special teams meetings when Coach Bisaccia was there because the guys came out of it so fired up. He said, right. I'm not on special teams, but I want to hear what's going on. That's what Rich brings to the table.
I used to try to help out during special teams periods because I wanted to go help Rich Bisaccia. Other than Mike Tomlin, who was down there in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaching staff, is the greatest communicator I was ever around as a player in my 8 years. He was one of those guys, a short list of guys where when Rich Bisaccia moved on for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he just went, he's going to be a head coach one day. He's got that way with the players, to Coach's point. I mean, the circumstances in which he's overcome obstacles this year are unbelievable. They got a good thing going there right now. They got good coordinators. They're a few players away from being really a really solid football team. I hope they stay with them.
We interviewed Darren Waller when we had them on the last time, and he said the reason why we're in this position is Rich Bisaccia.
Plain and simple. It's his 39th year as a coach, his first season, though, actually being able to hold on to that head coaching position. Well, we mentioned a lot of those close wins for Vegas that Rich Bisaccia was able to help coordinate. Daniel Carlson is a big reason why. Remember, he kicked the game winner in OT against the Chargers. That was his 5th walk-off field goal of the season. Just get him close, right?
Keep it close.
Just keep it close, okay? That kick, of course, prevented the tie, which means that it kept the Steelers in the playoffs. It took the Chargers out. So guess what the Steelers fans did? They started donating money to some of the organizations that Carlson...
Steelers fans bonding with the Raiders?
Right. Yes. What's going on?
Carlson was tweeting out on Monday that Pittsburgh fans have been donating to organizations he supports, and he said he loves the adrenaline that comes with some of those big kicks. So a key player for Vegas. Yeah, Carlson, he's getting ready. Just keep it close.
He's clutch. He's one of the best in the game.
Aerial skiing is as close to flying as you can get. Doing a bunch of flips and twists, and it is amazing when you stick that, and it's just such a unique feeling.
If you were to go, 80 miles an hour on a bumpy gravel road and stick your head out the window, that can be what it feels like.
The reason I'm willing to go that far into the pain cave is because then I know, without any doubt whatsoever, that I've left no stone unturned.
We are now less than 3 weeks away from opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. And earlier this week in Austria, 3-time Olympic medalist Michaela Schifrin won her 47th World Cup slalom race to set an all-time record for wins in a single discipline. The Colorado native is one of the best all-around skiers ever, and she expects to compete in multiple events in Beijing, where she could leave with more career Olympic medals than any American skier in history. Back in Cincinnati, it feels like winter for sure, where one of these teams will be ending a long postseason win drought. It's the Raiders that haven't won a playoff game since their Super Bowl run 19 years ago. And one of Vegas's top players is their running back, Josh Jacobs. He spoke with our Catherine Tappan a short time ago.
Josh, you played for a national title every year at Alabama, so you know and you're familiar with the big stage, but this is your first NFL playoff game. How does this one stack up?
It definitely has a different feeling. I told people that last game probably was the most exciting game I've ever been in. Being year 3 to be able to come and play the playoffs, man, it's a huge honor. I know a lot of people don't get this opportunity, so I'm just trying to make the best of it.
The last time you played the Bengals, you were held to 37 yards on the ground. What makes this defense so tough?
I mean, up front, they got a good defensive line. Linebackers is fast, they feel, and the back end they can tackle. So this is definitely going to be a battle today.
But since that time, what has changed with this Raiders team?
I think the morale of the team, the attention to detail that we put in each day, a lot of people being healthy this game compared to last game. I mean, it's going to be a good one.
Well, Josh Jacobs has been a good one. He's had 2 100-yard performances over the last 3 games. But this Bengals defense is top 5 against the run game. So certainly will be a battle of 2 very big focal points. But let's talk about another game where the run game will be critical. That's Dallas taking on the 49ers. The 49ers are 7th in the league in rushing, averaging about 127 yards per game.
And the Dallas Cowboys, they remind me of some of the teams I had in Indianapolis. Dynamic, quick striking on offense, fast on defense. But we had some problems and people ran right at us. And I think that's got to be the San Francisco strategy. 6 times this year, Dallas has given up over 125 yards rushing.
Right.
They're 2-4 in those games. If I know that stat, Kyle Shanahan has to know it, right?
That's right. I mean, he's one of the best run game coaches in football, and their run game has taken off here down the stretch of the regular season. I think Coach makes the point, and I agree with him. And I think if you look at it and go, man, the 49ers, they control this game with the run game and have the Cowboys play from behind. I don't know if that's what the Cowboys want. Can the Cowboys defensive line, this defense is good in Dallas, it's not great, but they got a lot of playmakers. And their D-line, can they mess it up? Can Randy Gregory, Marcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, all these freaks of nature they got out there, can they ruin that Shanahan run game? If they can, they got a chance to win this football game for sure.
Well, they're awesome against throwing attacks and people that just have to drop back and throw. But who is going to get to play their tempo? Who's going to create their style? San Francisco, will they slow it down and pound it, or will Dallas make it a fast break type game?
So we'll see who is able to inflict their will on the other when Dallas and the 49ers face off. Well, we are getting closer and closer to kickoff in Cincy. The Raiders' leading receiver is Hunter Renfrow. He had 2 touchdowns last week to help Vegas clinch their playoff spot. And Renfrow spoke to Jack Collinsworth this week about what makes him such a unique player.
Touchdown, Hunter Renfrow.
I grew up playing a lot of backyard football, playing with angles where they're trying to create that space. And so, trying to take that and what I've done my whole life and just fit it in the parameters of an NFL football game.
When you watch other wide receivers around the NFL, which guy do you try to study the most?
I love watching Cooper Kupp. He's so explosive. He does a great job of setting people up. He kind of plays outside of his frame a little bit, and something that I try to emulate and try to do.
Everybody used to laugh at us on the schedule, be like, oh, we finna play the Bengals. It's just that week.
The Cincinnati Bengals clinch the AFC North.
And now it ain't no laughing, ain't no playing and joking no more. They know what's going on. They know how we coming.
Oh, yeah, it's PointsBet Pulse time, and there's the man right there, Joe Mixon. Had a great game in the first matchup against the Raiders. The Raiders, stingy on defense. They're going to put 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. I don't care, Bengals. You got to stay patient. You got to stay patient with the run game. They're going to be looking to take away the big play and the pass game from Burrow and company. The first time around, Mixon, the ability to get out on the edge with a little toss crack here. Smash all the Raiders inside, get him outside. He makes a nice play there. Then, again, here, some great creativity, taking advantage of the fast flow Raiders defense. There goes Mixon off the edge, getting the touchdown. And then a little zone cutback here, leaving one guy free for the running back, but that's why he's making $10+ million a year. Make that guy miss. I think this is going to be a big key of the football game for the Bengals on the offensive side. Make that Raiders defense come up. Then maybe you can hit Jamar Chase and company downfield for the big play. Now, the next thing to do, download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Maria, over to you.
Good job, Chris, holding it down all by yourself. Okay, Bengals fans, avert your eyes. We're going to go through the 8 straight losses that you suffered in the playoffs, and we're going to start with the curse of Bo Jackson.
And you know how long this is going, Maria? I was a young assistant coach with the Chiefs during this game.
You're still young in my eyes.
That was bad. They hurt Bo Jackson.
Okay, 2005 against the Steelers. They hurt Carson Palmer.
And that's when I kind of went like, oh, man, the game's over, like in the first play of the game, and you felt like, oh, wow, the Steelers pull off the upset.
Okay, 4 years later, against the Jets.
Revis Island, remember that? That was a while ago.
Man. Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan beat the Bengals in back-to-back weeks. That one hurts.
Yes, it did. And then J.J. Watt, the curse of
greatest
J.J.
plays
Watt.
I've seen in playoff.
That was amazing.
Let's see if the rematch goes any better. 2012? No, not so much.
And they had like no names at quarterback for the Texans, too, which isn't great for the Bengals.
Okay, what about against the Chargers in 2013?
Yeah, now we're at home, but we're still self-destructive.
Oh, man.
And then we've got some bad luck against Andrew Luck. We are going to take you to the Colts.
Yes, where is the pass defense? Non-existent on this day.
It was non-existent. Luck had his way, made a lot of plays.
Okay, and the last time we've seen the Bengals was 2015 in the playoffs.
And now we're going to break the streak. We've got the ball, we've got the lead, just a minute. No, you can't fumble it now.
Everything was going good. They're finally going to do it, and then it's fumbles and bonehead plays by defenders.
Game's over.
Man, let's give them 30 yards and penalties, coach. Let them go kick the game-winning field goal.
I would like to formally apologize to all Bengals fans for putting you through that, but we do that to let you know that it's the time. If you're going to be able to break it, it's going to be your young, big play Bengals, and it might not look like the way it ended in 2015 with that 2-point loss to the Steelers. Oh, that is a heartbreaking loss.
That was.
Okay, so Cincinnati is hoping to end a streak against the team that started it over 3 decades ago when a lot of their big players were not even born yet. But also in the AFC, the Bills and Patriots will play for the 3rd time this season later tonight. And tomorrow night, the Steelers visit the Chiefs, where Patrick Mahomes and company will start their quest for a 3rd straight trip to the Super Bowl. So in broadcasting, we call it like staying on script, when you're just like reading off your teleprompter and doing that. You might be the one quarterback who there's no such thing as a script. Like, we never know what's going to happen.
Everything you got with the guy beside you every single play. Playmakers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
How do you balance being patient with the Mahomes magic and the great, awesome plays that we can see you make on Sundays?
It's still hard. I still battle with the coaches about it. I try to find the best way to just help our team out. And there's times where I still get a little too aggressive. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more. One play at a time, dominate. A little too freelance.
What a ball by Patrick Mahomes.
A little too scramble outside the pocket.
Mahomes able to move to his right.
It's about finding that fine line of when to stay in the pocket and be the normal quarterback, I guess you would say, and then when to freelance and be who I am.
I love that, a normal quarterback. What kind of quarterback are you?
I like to say that I'm a little bit of everything. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to keep going. Keep calling. I think I can do pretty much what's needed to be done in order to win. And more than a quarterback, I just like being a football player, someone that's trying to win no matter what. Play for this stadium. Play for everybody.
Can you help us laymen and women understand how difficult it is to make it to back-to-back Super Bowls?
Tom's kind of spoiled everybody to think that he just kind of gets to the Super Bowl every single year. I think I found out a lot after this last Super Bowl of how tough it is just to get to the Super Bowl and to win it. Great drive, great drive. We just methodically get down the field. What are you doing? I understand that I have a special group of guys around me, and so I just don't want to waste these opportunities of being in the playoffs with these guys and having the chance to have this team get to another Super Bowl.
Definitely want to thank Pat for his time. The normal quarterback versus Mahomes magic is going to be something that he's constantly balancing, and he's walking the fine line, Coach. I'll let you get to it. But he threw for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Steelers. So that's why we have today's Next Gen Stats powered by AWS. It's going to focus on Mahomes' short passes in Week 16. He was 17 for 18, 13% over expected against the Steelers. How was he able to do it?
Well, he was patient, and that was one of the things that, of course, he talked to you about about it. He talked about it all year long. He gets a little too aggressive, leaves the scope of the offense. This game, he showed he had the ability to do that.
Yeah, Pittsburgh using all those deep drops, take away the deep throw, and he went to his underneath receivers. When they were open, he delivered the ball to them and let them work.
Yeah, it's been a flaw for him. He's wanted to make Mahomes' magic happen too much this year, and it's gotten him into some issues. But here, even again, in the pocket, hey, little sidearm throw, short crosser, hits that. We'll see if he can replicate what he did in that first matchup once again.
Yeah, we saw those next-gen stats. He was unbelievable in that first game, but I think Mike Tomlin will use the same approach. He'll watch Maria's interview and say he struggles with that. He doesn't want to stay patient. Right. Let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he can do it again too. And I understand Mike Tomlin playing the soft coverages and trying to see wait, can Mahomes really do it for a second time? But what I would say is they better have a plan B. In case he does show this patience once again, that they got to do something, again, to pressure him, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable, take some calculated risk if they want to pull off the upset in Kansas City.
And look, Patrick Mahomes has looked very comfortable over the last 5 games. 70% completion rate, over 1,400 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he's feeling good, feeling great going into the playoffs.
Normal
quarterbacking. All right, let's get into our normal guys. Jack and Rodney out in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're feeling good in this Cincinnati win right here. And Big Ben, he already joked, man. He said we're probably 20-point underdogs. Let's just go in there and have some fun. So give me a scenario where the Steelers can go into Kansas City and pull off the win.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Steelers offense, so they're going to have to win on the defensive side of the ball. And they have to look at their stars, T.J. Watt and Cameron Hayward, to create a couple turnovers and give Big Ben good field position. They need that today.
In this Kansas City defense, they were getting better. Now, Joe Burrow just picked them apart, of course, but how would you defend Big Ben at this point in his career?
Kansas City's defense, I'm coming out playing a lot of man-to-man coverage, taking away those quick, easy throws that Ben loves so much, trying to make him uncomfortable and make him throw in those tight windows for 4 quarters at Arrowhead Stadium.
And Big Ben, he found a way to win 3 of their last 4 games. The only problem is that one loss was getting blown out by the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the only rematch this weekend. The Patriots head up to the Icebox of Buffalo, New York tonight. Mac Jones, he only attempted 3 passes during the last trip. Rodney Harrison takes you inside Bill Belichick's strategy when we come back.
Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares is back and free to enter. Every time the score changes during Super Bowl 56, one lucky winner receives $50 grand. Plus, you could win one of 2 $500,000 grand prizes. Just see and complete the rules at rocketmortgagesquares.com. Joe Burrow hitting the field for his first ever playoff appearance. All he's done is throw for nearly 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Will it be a lot more Joey Burrow touchdowns and big play Bengals, or will the Raiders defense be able to slow them down? Now, we're just about an hour away from Bengals and Raiders, but let's talk about the coaching front. If you include the Raiders, 8 teams currently have head coaching vacancies. Also, the Bears, Texans, Giants, Dolphins, Vikings, Broncos, and Jaguars. That is a quarter of the league. So let's welcome back in Mike Florio. What are you hearing, Mike, on the coaching front?
Well, I'll start with Brian Flores. He was the surprise firing on Monday by the Miami Dolphins. He's already interviewed with both the Bears and the Texans, and I would expect him to take some time, explore his options very carefully. He wants to make this next decision the right decision. He wants to get to know very well any team he may be working for. And meanwhile, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh continues to hover over this entire process. No teams have officially interviewed him yet, but I'm told he is very interested in coming back. He's 58 years old. He desperately wants to win a Super Bowl. His brother John has one. He'd probably like to have one too. And I'm also told it's not about leveraging a better deal out of Michigan. Every time I hear that, I think, of course, it's about leveraging a better deal out of Michigan. But I believe that he is just interested in staying put, if that's what it takes. Or if a door opens back to the NFL where he was 44-19-1 in 4 years with the 49ers, he will listen carefully about possibly coming back and pursuing that Super Bowl win that he covets.
All right, Mike. Well, there are a lot of doors certainly open. I don't think we can stress it enough that a quarter of the league will be filling in a head coaching vacancy. But, Coach, what's your reaction to what we've seen with all of the coaching carousel madness in the NFL?
Well, I don't like to see it, but this is the NFL that we're used to, 5 to 8 changes every year, some of them on teams that didn't have a lot of success, some of them head scratches that you can't really figure out. And right now, we only have one African-American head coach in the National Football League, which is ridiculous. But we can't overreact to that and say, oh, we've got to have this many minority hirings. No, we've got to hire the right people. We had a situation in Houston where a coach is fired after 1 year for philosophical differences. Well, weren't you supposed to be interviewing? Wasn't that part of the process to know what his philosophy is? No, owners, take your time in this process. There are a lot of great coaches out there, a lot of great minority coaches, but there's a ton of coaches. Hire the right people in the right spot. Let's get this right.
Yeah, right. Do your due diligence. Get these guys right. Get the right people in the right spots. The thing that I'm interested in, Maria, it's a weird year as far as the 8 openings you talk about, but I look at 4 of them where usually when we're talking about, hey, we need a new head coach, it's like one of those, hey, we got to blow up the roster. You look at like the Vikings, the Dolphins, the Bears, and who else am I missing? The Broncos. I look at all those teams and go, they're not far off. I mean, the Broncos, Vikings, and Dolphins just missed the playoffs. The Bears got Justin Fields. So there's some places there where I think you get the right coach in there, and to Coach's point, they're right back in the playoff conversation next year.
And I just have one problem, too, with this whole process. It's so tight and so fast. I've talked to a couple of assistant coaches who are coaching in these games this weekend, and they want them to interview Sunday and Monday. They're doing a disservice to their teams and themselves, but they don't want to say, I can't. I want to turn this down because I've got to prepare. This is a hard process. Owners, take your time.
Yeah, you don't want to remove yourself from the opportunity, but you obviously want to have your team prepared.
Ready to go.
Yeah, and to your point about the one minority coach, it's Mike Tomlin, and he's never had a losing season in his 15 seasons, so he's been exceptional, but you want other people to have those opportunities as well. Well, there's one game where we know that there will be no head coaching questions, and that's later tonight. A little AFC action as New England visits Buffalo. Now, remember the crazy weather of their Week 13 game? Well, there's less wind today, but it's way colder. Like, I'm already shaking and shivering in the studio and nervous about the game, but Josh Allen is out to prove his Bills can handle the moment against a familiar foe.
They beat us at home.
Allen got drilled. What a hit.
It's going to be a great challenge against a team that's been the standard for long-term success in the NFL for the last 25 years.
Touchdown, Buffalo. Wow, what a throw.
A lot of magic here with Allen. Got to be ready for everything.
They're headed to the exits now here in Foxborough.
Yeah, this guy's he's a problem.
Time now to simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface. And since Bill Belichick says Josh Allen is a problem, we're going to come up with solutions and talk about the problem, okay? Break them down and what he's been able to do in offense.
Well, he's a problem because he's awesome. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, he's the greatest one-man show in the sport right now. And I think the thing that jumps out to me, again, his movement, his ability to break the pocket, that is going to be one of the keys to the football game. Because, Coach, how many times did we see in the second matchup where you go, that's the perfect defense, and you can't defend it because he makes some unbelievable play happen.
They're doing exactly what they want to do, forcing incredible situations, but he's coming through.
He is coming through. And then they're going to go down with my boy Blue here, Josh Allen. That's what Buffalo does. And his ability in the game plan design run, Coach, I know that jumps out to you.
Tonight, I think this could be a key. Those design plays for him to not scramble around, but run the football. I think he could be a big part of the attack tonight.
No doubt.
He's had at least 60 yards rushing in 4 of the last 5 games, so he's been a part of the run game for the Bills. But let's talk about the coaches that they have on the sideline. Obviously, those coaching trees, they spread out. Patriots and Bills assistants who could possibly be in the running. Let's check back in with Mike Florio.
Yeah, I'll start with the Buffalo Bills. Both coordinators, offensive and defensive, Brian Daboll and Leslie Frazier, respectively, again, drawing interest in this hiring cycle for head coaching opportunities. Both the Bears and the Dolphins want to interview Daboll and Frazier. And Daboll's fascinating because if they have a huge game tonight offensively against the Patriots, that's going to make his stock go up. Flip side, if it's like it was on that Monday night in December, when the Bills offense couldn't do much and Sean McDermott, the head coach, said some things after the game that made you wonder how he really feels about where the offense is going, there's a chance that the Bills can make a change. Again, if it goes very poorly tonight. As to the Patriots, one assistant so far has landed on the radar screen of the Houston Texans. Inside linebackers, Coach Gerard Mayo is on the list of the coaches that the Texans want to interview. And with 8 vacancies, Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, has not yet been the target of any coaching search. The Patriots are surprised by that, but they definitely expect it to change.
Well, thanks, Mike. A lot to watch on and off the field in round 3 of Pats and Bills. But for more on what the Patriots need to do to slow down Josh Allen, let's go back out to Cincinnati. Jack and Rodney.
Yeah, Maria, Coach Belichick, you just heard that he called Josh Allen a problem. You've been in the lab with Belichick for some of his most crucial game plans. How do you go stop the Bills?
First of all, Coach Belichick loves this type of weather because he knows it slows down the Bills' passing game. But defensively, I expect him to be a lot more aggressive than he was in the previous game. Bring pressure on Josh Allen, get the ball out of his hands, because the longer he holds the ball, the better player he is.
And Mac Jones, he struggled the last month of the season, basically just handed it off during that first trip to Buffalo. So how should the Patriots use Mac Jones in this rematch?
Well, obviously they're going to continue to run the ball, but they gotta allow this kid to play. The only way he's going to be able to learn and get that experience is take the training wheels off and let him throw the ball down the field.
Well, these brutal weather games, this is where Tom Brady made his name for so long. It is time for Mac Jones to prove that he's a January quarterback here in Cincinnati. The Bengals believe that they have just that, but he's going to have to prove it tonight against Derek Carr. He's been red hot.
Simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
It's my Bengals. Been with them, the ups and downs, the roller coasters. Figure this out and we'll break our 30 years.
I grew up with this team. I still remember being in preschool and knowing the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl.
Now listen to Cincinnati.
Old Jungle in his prime was loud, mean.
This is the new Icky Shuffle.
It's been tough, man. 4 boys. My oldest is 30. None of them got to see the Bengals win a playoff game yet, and it changes this Saturday.
I ain't gonna lie, this is gonna be an emotional moment.
Just a few of my bobbleheads here, and our man Joe Burrow leading us to the promised land this year.
No more of this boat. Let's go.
Don't let that baby face fool you. He's what this city needed. He's got the swagger. He's got the skills. We always have hope with Burrow.
Touchdown.
Jabbar, number 1, he's got some swagger, just like Joey B.
Doing the gritty.
Them two playing together at LSU, they brought that chemistry, and everybody loves them.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
I think he's going to lead us to many, many playoffs and Super Bowl wins.
They can beat anybody.
Hop on the Bengals bandwagon.
All right, Bengal Jim, Big John, and Tony the Tiger, along with all the other Cincy fans, have been waiting just over 3 decades for a playoff win. But Captain Obvious knows
he's ready.
that they're ready for this opportunity because they got a young buck in Joe Burrow, who wasn't alive the last time they got a playoff win, but he's from Ohio. He became a superstar at LSU. And guys, his favorite player growing up was none other than Louisiana's favorite, Drew Brees. Exactly. The two were able to spend some time together ahead of Burrow's national championship game a couple of years ago. Brees was still with the Saints, and Burrow told you what, Chris Sims?
He said that he was never starstruck by anybody in his life other than when he met Drew Brees.
All right, so that tees up the birthday boy. He's calling the game with Mike Tirico. Let's check in with the booth, guys.
Yeah, I'm starstruck. I don't even know if I can do the game today. I'm so starstruck. Happy birthday, pal. That not just the geography of LSU and New Orleans that you guys share, but Joe Brady, who was a coach for you all with the Saints, ended up being the offensive coordinator for that magic year for the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, and so I'm tuning in every Saturday to watch LSU and Joe Brady, and I'm literally sitting there watching Joe Burrow execute our offense and execute it to perfection.
Yeah, right.
60 touchdowns that year. Now he's thrown to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but still arguably one of the best college football seasons I've ever seen a quarterback play. And here's what makes him so special and all the things that he can do. First off, it's his pocket movement. He's got a big, strong stature, 6'4", but great pocket presence and movement. Watch how he slides here, flips his hips, gets all his momentum going to deliver the ball accurately down the field. Great recognition here and arm strength, throwing the go ball versus cover 0. And here, just the processing, his ability to manipulate defenders, move the safety with his eyes to the left, feels the void into the defense, comes back, hits Tyler Boyd on the double move up the seam with a very catchable ball. Joe Burrow has all the physical traits, the mental traits, but most importantly, he's got a swagger and a confidence that he's instilled in this offense.
And the stats. Look at those numbers. Down the field, leading the league in yards per attempt and completion percentage. That's a rare duo to lead the league in both. The last guy was our guy, Drew, back in 2017. Joe Burrow is now Mr. Cincinnati. Jack Collinsworth, he's taking that title from you.
Thank you, Mike. Let's go on the field, presented by Allstate. We'll start with Trey Hendrickson. who became the highest paid Bengal this offseason, and he's earned it. Best pass rusher in Cincinnati year one. It's been a career year for him, Rod.
Absolutely, and he's a very underrated player. He's faster than what he looks on film. He leads them with 14 sacks, and he's been their best player on defense. He has to get after Derek Carr today.
And Hunter Renfrow, he still has that humility of a Clemson walk-on, but he has 5-star talent, got a couple touchdown passes last week. How does he create so much separation out there?
He's Derek Carr's favorite target. His route running is absolutely ridiculous when he's in and out of his breaks. He's got great hands, and I'm looking forward to seeing him matched up with one of the top slot corners in all of football, and Mike Hilton. That should be a fun matchup to watch.
I got to spend some time with Renfrow this week. He carpools to every home game with his best friend Derek Carr. They already have their Super Bowl celebration planned out. First, they're going to cruise down the Vegas Strip with that Lombardi trophy. Then they're going to play golf with Tiger Woods, and they're going to shut it down by playing a week straight of Fortnite. They're men of the people.
Hold on. Tiger Woods is a huge Raiders fan.
Huge. Die hard.
I want to play golf too with Tiger.
We're always studying these pregame warm-ups, Rod. What have you noticed out here so far?
Had a chance to talk to Mike Mayock, and he was just really excited about their locker room. He said, this is the best locker room we've had in years. And he said, Max Crosby, he's the one that leads it.
Let's get to the Bengals' top playmaker, Jamar Chase. He's getting ready out there on the field. His rookie season was record-setting, and he caught up with Maria Taylor.
When you look back on the regular season, give me some plays that you even say, whoa, like I want to put that on my rookie highlight reel.
That third down catch I had last game.
Chase has got it. Unreal.
My deep catch in Detroit, I want to say I like the route. My breakaway catch from Kansas.
Numero uno.
There's many more clips I can say, but I'm not going to go that far.
Count them. Number one.
If you could just give me a word to describe some of the guys that I'm going to give you a name on offense. Let's start with your quarterback, Joe Burrow.
Quiet.
It's time for me to take over.
When we're not on the football field, he's just quiet.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, goofy.
Joe Mixon.
Mixon is the hypest guy I know.
It's inevitable that this man is the rookie of the year, and there's only more to come.
I got to take you back to the locker room celebration. How does it compare to having a cigar after a national championship with your quarterback to headed to the playoffs in the NFL as a rookie?
We'll see how these playoffs go this round. Then we got to ask me this question later because I want to definitely compare this.
All right, if you win numero uno, I will be asking you more questions because you're still playing in the postseason. Okay, since I asked Jamar Chase for his top three plays, then I figured we should give our top three plays. Chris, let's start with you.
Okay, let's start. I mean, first off, we know the guy can run by you, go deep for touchdowns, but this is what I also love about his game. People are scared of him. They play the deep ball. His ability to adjust and catch back shoulder balls is really what's amazing and helped them win a lot of football games. Unreal body control.
Well, this might be my favorite play because it shows that he's a complete football player.
Oh, here he is, Coach.
Yes.
I like
Big
the hustle guy.
He is running, he's hustling, and not just a block, but a destroying block, and taking joy out of it, helping his man, Joe Mixon, get in the end zone.
Oh, my God. That is such a coach's
right?
point.
What a coach he is.
Give me the clicker.
What great hustle that guy has.
I'm going to week 7 to him making plays against Baltimore. You like this?
You like touchdowns?
I mean, he spins off of like 3 dudes and takes it to the house. I mean, check out the durability, the strength. I mean, the balance.
That's
anything that you could ask for. That's when you knew.
You knew it's like, it's real.
This
like,
cat's
wow.
different.
He's not just a deep ball catcher. He does everything.
Yeah, he is like the definition of gritty, whatever that might be, I guess. But let's talk about the Raiders defense and how they can kind of contain this Bengals offense because they don't give up a lot of big plays, Coach.
And that's what you have to do. That first game, they made them go the long route, have long drives, see if you can stop them in the red zone. And they did it by just a little alteration in their style. Yeah. Most people put 2 safeties back here deep to take away the big play. They didn't do that. They kept their safety in the middle, but instead of bump and run, they played off these guys and they made them catch the ball underneath. And I think that is going to be something we're going to have to look for today. Now, take away the deep ball. They're in good position. No deep ball here. But against Burrow, which we saw, you've got to stay with it when he moves around. And now plaster these guys downfield. When he makes this throw, get somebody there to make a play on it. They did a great job of taking away the deep ball in the first game.
No, they really did. He's going to have to be patient. It's going to test these young guys and see if they can kind of play that style of football. And when he does escape the pocket, like Coach is talking about, he's got to be aware of who's around him. Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby are coming. They strip-sacked him the first game, and they almost picked it up up and ran for a touchdown. Right. That can be game-changing moments.
Remember, Joe Burrow was sacked NFL highest 51 times on the season. Let's get back to the field before Coach starts breaking down more blocks. Let's go back to the field presented by Allstate. Yeah, we are not breaking down blocks anymore. Let's talk about T. Higgins, what we expect to see from him.
Let's not forget about this guy. Again, over 1,000 yards, outside receiver, 6'5", Maria. Again, another guy that can go down the field and beat you. You throw jump balls to him, the 50-50 ball. It's not 50-50 to T. Higgins. It's more like 80-20 in his favor.
I like those odds.
You cover those two guys. How about Tyler Boyd as a third receiver? Almost 1,000 yards for him. And that's what I love about this offense. Joe Burrow doesn't care who it is. If he sees a favorable matchup, he's going to go to him and keep going to him. And you could see Tyler Boyd a lot today.
Yeah. So imagine seeing that three-headed monster lineup. Then Joe Mixon jumps in. Third best rusher in the NFL.
And we might run the ball
exactly. Looking to make it happen in the playoffs.
Let's go! Las Vegas, the high-stakes capital of America.
Here in Vegas, the 4 is king.
The end zone caught, touchdown.
The 10 can surprise you.
Caught in the end zone by Mike Williams. This is just insane. We are going to overtime. Chargers take a timeout.
What?
Yeah,
I think the
tell me.
Raiders were playing, just let the clock run out, and the Chargers took the timeout.
Wow. So it's going to come down to this. Snap good, hold good, and Raiders in, Chargers out.
We got to see the biggest moment of Derek Carr's career on Sunday night. You could tell a trip to the playoffs just meant everything to him. Just by the way he was warming up. He's been the rock for this franchise. What do you still need to see more of, though, from this Raiders offense?
He has to get the ball to Darren Waller. Nobody on Cincinnati can defend him. He's 6'6", he runs like a deer, and it's just unbelievable. He can play in the slot, he can play out wide, and he's such a big target. He was standing next to us. He's 6'6", he's huge. He can go up, and then you can move him to the other side and put him in a normal tight end position and let him make plays down the field, Jack.
And he came over here, he was making you look a little bit small. I was getting worried about you. He was towering over you, standing right here.
I saw this kid in Atlanta at a gym, and I could not believe that a tight end was built like that. I mean, he was just so big and so lean and just so athletic. They need to get him the football.
We got to spend some time with Josh Jacobs after that win last week. He told us that he views himself as the closer. He's our Sunday Night 7. How many total yards for him tonight?
Well, hey, he's not 100%. He's got some sore ribs, but he runs extremely hard and he's tough to tackle. He has to have a big game. I'm saying between 85 and 99 yards, he should have a big game.
With $1 million on the line, you can make your picks along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. And even with that rib injury you mentioned, Jacobs has been taking over fourth quarters lately, Maria.
That's right. Josh Jacobs coming off 132 yards rushing in that overtime win against the Chargers. So he's hoping for a big day, but it's going against the Cincy Bengals defense, who have 5 starters that were added during free agency. They've been performing pretty well. What do you expect to see in the matchup when they're on the field against?
Well, Cincinnati is playing very good defense, especially against the run. They held Josh Jacobs to 37 yards in that first game. I don't think the Raiders can take a repeat of that. They've got to get Josh Jacobs going early. Derek Carr puts up some great numbers, but I think this is a day you've got to run the ball to slow down that Joe Burrow-led offense.
I would agree with that totally. The Raiders have been running the ball better down the stretch the last part of the season, so they're better in that area as far as the first matchup is concerned. The Bengals defense is good at all 3 levels. I don't think we see a weakness as a whole in any area. But I will say this, with Derek Carr, who's been phenomenal this season, he's been playing great. He can be surgical, high percentage passes. They got to find a few ways in this game to sprinkle some shots down the field. That's something they did not do the first time around. And I'll echo what Rodney said. Darren Waller, he's the key to their success. The Bengals had no answer for him the first time.
Yeah, I agree. And Waller is a weapon in the middle of the field. You've got to use him. You've got to score a touchdown today. It's not going to be just keep the ball and kick field goals and win time.
Field goals ain't going to be Burrow.
You've got to score a touchdown.
Yeah, and remember, Waller had 116 yards receiving against the Bengals in their first meeting. All right, coming up, we'll hear from Joe Burrow himself on his record-setting regular season, one that ended with the AFC North title and a post-game treat that's really become his signature after a big win.
When did you become like Johnny Cigar Guy? Is this something you actually do in your free time?
Just on special occasions. I figured when I win a championship, whether it's our division championship or a Super Bowl or a national championship, I think we should probably smoke some cigars now. I don't really know any brands.
Yeah.
I just smoke whatever somebody gives me.
Smoke them if you got them.
So far, Joe Burrow has delivered as the #1 pick for Cincy. He's bounced back from a serious knee injury to set franchise records for passing yards and touchdowns. And up next, obviously, we're preparing for his first playoff start and the chance to make more Bengals history.
"31-year playoff gap between wins." Do the players in the locker room care about that?
No, we honestly haven't even talked about it all week.
Yeah.
We're just here having fun playing football with a bunch of friends in the locker room. You know, we're proud of what we've done and who we are, and we're going to go out there and give it our best shot.
That's good, baby. That touchdown's on you guys. You gave me hella time. Undefeated on the coin toss.
And I heard you make some comments like you wanted to improve your arm strength. When did that light bulb go off?
It's just something that I've always had to work on. I think my rehab process probably helped me a lot. I really focused on strengthening my hips and my glutes and my core, and that's where all the velocity comes from when you throw.
Your movement, how do you go about being so good in that area of your game?
I just kind of have a good feel of where people are in the pocket.
I got the golden touch.
And I just now started to get back to being able to make free runners miss, so that's exciting for me.
Oh, I need a good time.
Burrow rolls to the right.
Unbelievable. Come on, let's go! Let's go!
Tell me about the relationship with Drew.
Drew was my favorite quarterback growing up. I was actually a Saints fan in Ohio because of him. I'm not starstruck usually, but the first time I met Drew, I was a little starstruck. Kind of wanted to make sure he knew I knew football, so I was talking about our game plan and all that.
Right.
No, it's been great to get to know him.
All right, that's good. So Joe Cool does get nervous every now and then. It just takes another superstar quarterback to do that.
I love it, Joey Cool. We were all nervous trying to impress Drew Brees and make sure that he knew that we knew football. Okay, but he mentioned the fact that he is happy to be making free runners miss now. So he's got the velocity, he's got the accuracy, but the escapability, the ability to extend plays is impressive for him right now.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, he's amazing in that department. He's a slippery SOB. That's what I always say about him. He's a natural in this department. And again, the thing that's amazing to me, what he told me is he doesn't care about rushers being free. He feels like I'm going to make a miss and still make a great throw down the field, Coach.
You watch this tape, and it's not just about getting away, which is incredible,
right,
but on the move, then under duress, making these accurate throws.
Yeah, it is. He's got a great blend of assessing the pass rush, getting his eyes down, wait, is somebody bearing down on me? And then, oh, wait, I'm okay. Let me get my eyes up. Let me look at the coverage and now assess that situation. And, of course, he's as good as we have in the sport right now in making these off-schedule plays.
Yeah, and to me, you look at this guy as a young quarterback, leading the league in yards per attempt and leading the league in completion percentage.
Right.
Reminds me of Peyton Manning. I had Peyton Manning when he was close to doing that, but some of those years he was getting sacked 10 times, 8 times. Joe Burrow is doing it under duress with not a great offensive line.
No, I think that's the thing to watch out for today. I know you and I are both going to be keyed on that. It is not a great offensive line. He's had to make magic happen. But this is a day here where don't try to be too crazy, right? Because these two edge rushers, they can disrupt this game and flip it in a hurry.
Yeah, you guys brought it up, but we'll say it again. No quarterback in the league has been sacked more than Joe Burrow. That is 51 times, and yet it's still been quite the incredible season for Joe. According to PointsBet, Burrow ended the regular season with the second best odds for comeback player of the year behind Dak Prescott. As we check back in with Jack and Rodney, how can the Raiders slow Burrow down today, guys?
Maria, Joe Burrow and this Bengals offense, they have been unstoppable here recently. So if you're the Raiders, what is the first order of business trying to defend these Bengals?
Well, you have to take care of these wide receivers. Number one, you have to tackle these guys. They're really big, they're really strong. And secondly, you got to protect the deep part of the field, because as a defensive back, Joe Burrow doesn't care. You can have perfect position right here. He's still going to throw the ball because he trusts and he believes in his guys.
I appreciate you taking it easy on me. It's a little cold out here.
Yeah, you're not as strong as your dad.
My ribs appreciate that too. So if you're the Raiders defense, where's your greatest advantage against the Bengals?
The pass rush, and you just heard the guys in the studio talk about it. The right side of that offensive line, it's not very good. And they got to go against Max Crosby. And if you're not chipping him, if you're not double teaming him, they play with so much energy, they're going to change the game. We saw it last week against the Chargers. Max Crosby took over the game in the fourth quarter. You got to keep two guys on him at all times.
Max Crosby has been relentless. He has created more pressure than anybody in the entire NFL. And Joe Burrow, he's going to have to figure out a way to avoid that Raiders pass rush and get the ball to his trio of star wide receivers. They're led by Jamar Chase. There isn't a hotter receiver in the NFL. He can score from anywhere on the football field. And Derek Carr, the heartbeat of the Raiders, making his playoff debut in the jungle.
Getting set for kickoff, and fans in Cincinnati are hoping that today is the day. They've waited more than 30 years for a playoff win, but these teams did play in Vegas 2 months ago. The Bengals won that one by 19 points, but the Raiders have been counted out all season, and yet here they are, winners of 4 straight and a 10-7 record, the same as Cincy. We'll see how much weather will be a factor. We're right around freezing, but the forecast is clear. Meanwhile, it's barely above zero in Orchard Park, where the Bills are hosting the Pats later tonight. We've got 2 games today, 3 games tomorrow, and for the first time ever, we will have 1 playoff game on Monday night. Super Wild Card Weekend will continue for the next 3 days. We hope you enjoy it, but we want to give you some things to watch. So let's go through some of those matchups, starting with Philly and the Bucks.
Yeah, it could be bad weather in Tampa. Philly will try to control the game on the ground, but this is what they're going to have to deal with. Tom Brady in that passing game. He's got new receivers. Can he find that chemistry with them?
Tom Brady is 34-11 in the playoffs.
Kind of good.
Yeah, kind of knows how to win those games.
Right.
Dallas hosting the 49ers, Chris.
I'm going to be looking at this Dallas defensive line. 49ers, probably the best rushing attack, most creative rushing attack in all of football. Can this Dallas defensive line, who's got a lot of talented players, can they mess the game up? Can they mess up Shanahan's game plan and make Garoppolo have to throw to beat them?
What about the Rams taking on the Cardinals, coach?
Can Kyler Murray create magic? Well, it's tough to create magic when you've got Aaron Donald just running through the whole team. I'll give you a hint. Do not single block this man. Please double team him.
The Cardinals have lost 4 of their last 5, looking to turn things around in the postseason. What about Bills Pats round 3?
It's giddy up Josh Allen time. That's what it is, and that's what I'm interested to see. Can they contain Josh Allen? He made a few plays in the second matchup that were just remarkable physical plays by the quarterback. Can the Patriots contain him tonight and find a way to beat him and get the victory?
All right, that's our game on NBC tomorrow night. Steelers and Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes is tough to blitz. He's so good against the blitz. So what's going to happen for Pittsburgh? T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, you've got to create pressure, and then you've got to tackle these quick throws better than you did in the first game.
All right, well, those are the matchups we expect to see, but we start off with this one right here. Cincinnati taking on the Raiders. It's the second meeting between these two teams. The Bengals beat the Raiders 32-13 in Week 11 in Vegas, but there's more riding on this matchup because you win or you go home or you stay at home if you're the Bengals. What is the one thing you want to watch out for in this matchup, Chris?
I think is the Bengals youth, the big play Bengals, now the playoff pressure. Do we got to live up to the expectations of exciting all the fans watching on TV? Can they be willing to play an ugly game and maybe have to win 20-17? If they can show that patience, I think they got a good chance.
And for me, I'm going to be watching the line play, particularly the defensive lines. I think it's all about pass rush today. Which line can create the most pressure on the other quarterback?
Yeah.
All right, Chris, we got 2 quarterbacks playing in the playoffs for the first time. Your advice to them would be what?
Well, I would go just play within yourselves. You're not going to win it by yourself. That's for sure.
Okay, well, keep that same mindset with the home team picks. It's time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. We start with Jack Collinsworth and America's pick.
Maria, 62% of the country's on the Bengals. The people of Cincinnati have been dreaming of a playoff win for over 30 years, but the locals believe this is the start of something special. I was born and raised right here. I feel like Joe Burrow's about to make it rain all over that drought. Welcome to the jungle, baby. Who dat?
Why you take all day to make a pick? All right, I'm proud of the Bengals, and the Bengals did a great job this year. I'm a Bengals fan officially, but I've been a Raiders fan for a long time. I'm riding with the Raiders. They're underdogs, and they're ready to play. Look at them over there in the tunnel. They're ready.
You're going to pay for that. Right, Florida, who you going with?
Hey, I worry about two things with the Bengals. First of all, they have no playoff experience on this current roster, not much on the coaching staff. And on top of that, they are prone to having some bad games from time to time. But I think they're ready under Joe Burrow. They don't care about the past. They care about right now.
All right. I'm going to go with you, Mike Florio, the big play baby Bengals.
I'm going to go with the Raiders because I think they're going to play with the emotion. They're trying to win for their coach.
Right. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think they're a little bit better, and they just have a little more versatility in the ways they can win the football game. I'm going Bengals in a close one.
All right. Only Rodney's going against us. Those were today's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. Oh, Coach and Rodney.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see who gets the victory.
Guys.
It's time, finally, for kickoff. The 2021 NFL playoffs are starting now. We started with 32 teams. Now there's only 14. Will it be the Raiders? Will it be the Bengals continuing their postseason dreams?
This has been Football Night in America, presented by Allstate.